everyone. I thought I'd make a video today about mental health. Mental health isn't something I talk about very often. I don't tend to kind of open up to people I don't really know, and even to people I do know, I don't tend to kind of give too much away. But I thought I would address something which people should talk about, which is mental health in the postnatal period. Lots of people know about postnatal depression, or they've heard of it and they don't know much about it, but they know that it exists. For me, postnatal depression was something that I never expected to experience at all. After my first baby, who is now 6.5, after she was born, I went through quite a difficult adjustment in that, because I have a disability and I can't do much with my hands because they're like this. I found it very difficult to kind of accept that I couldn't do much physically for her. I couldn't do the typical things that parents do, like change nappies, dress her, bath her, and I found that quite difficult to accept, and accept that I was still her mum even though I couldn't do those things, which is one of the reasons I chose to breastfeed. It took a while to get used to breastfeeding her. She was a very small baby, she was only £5'10", so to get used to breastfeeding her was quite difficult. She found it hard to latch on, so it took a good few weeks of expressing and keeping up with trying to feed her, and then eventually she got it and she got the hang of it, and we both knew what we were doing. With my second daughter, I went through a similar kind of adjustment period after having her. Again, it was difficult for me to accept how much I couldn't do for my own child, even though I'd been through it once before. I'd kind of been through that and then kind of gradually changed and got used to what I could do. As my first daughter got bigger, I was able to do more for her, and when she was able to climb up on my lap, it was easier. But then having my second daughter, I had to go through all of that again. The third time, because I have 3 children, which is just crazy. Why would anyone have 3 children? I don't mean that. I love my 3 children. This time around, my little boy is just over 1, and again I went through the same kind of low down period after having him, and I remember it kind of happened in like a physical way. It was really bizarre. My mum was staying after we had him. She came up to look after our girls, and the day after I came home from hospital, she'd made a roast dinner, and we all sat at the table eating. I remember kind of like glancing down at the floor at something, and I can still physically remember like just looking at the floor and this kind of weird dark feeling just coming over me, like, oh god, this is happening again. And I couldn't stop it. It was like, oh god, this is so rubbish. And it was just, I can't explain why it happened or what specifically was making me feel like that, but it was just this kind of overbearing dark cloud just over my head, and I couldn't get rid of it, and it would kind of slip away for a bit temporarily every now and then. But times like just sitting up in bed in the morning and having a cup of tea, I'd suddenly have this weird kind of unrealistic darkness that just kept coming over me, and I couldn't explain why. I then just wanted to cry all the time, which happened after each of my babies. So I think that's quite normal. I think the reason I'm making this video is because I want people to know that having dark periods and low periods after having a baby is completely normal, although it's not pleasant and it's not something that you should just put up with. You should definitely tell people about it, because that's one of my worst traits, is I don't talk about it. I don't want to tell people, I don't want to admit that that's how it is and that's how it feels. And even people who've known me for several years don't know that that's how it felt after having a baby. And even though they would have seen me after having a baby, and they would have seen me with my baby, and you know, when each of them were newborns, they've seen me, they wouldn't have known, because I just don't let on about it. I kind of cover it up, and I act like everything's fine, and it's kind of when I'm on my own or just at home with the kids and my partner, that's when I can kind of be completely honest and just cry if I want to. It really helps having a supportive partner. My partner knows exactly how I might be feeling. He understands why there isn't really a specific reason for me to feel like that, but it just happens, and he knows that he doesn't really need to ask me why. It's just, he knows that he can just cuddle me and comfort me, and you know, that will help it definitely helps having somebody like that, and even if you haven't got a partner, I think it definitely helps having either a parent or a friend. I was lucky in that my partner is brilliant, my mum is brilliant, and my best friend is brilliant as well, and also my PA this time, she knew all about how I was feeling. So definitely having those core people around me, especially my partner, which just made all the difference in the world. This time, after having my third child, I had CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, which I did for about 3 months. I had an hour session each week with a lovely lady, and we just talked through things that made me anxious and things that made me feel low. And I think for me it was definitely equal low mood to anxiety. I think the anxiety for me comes from the fact that I do have a severe disability and I am a mum, and the two things don't necessarily work well together. Being a mum comes with all sorts of difficulties and stresses and responsibilities, and having a severe disability doesn't always allow you to fulfil those responsibilities and everything that you need and want to do to be a mum. So yeah, I thought I'd just make this video and ramble a bit about my sort of postnatal depression, anxiety, low mood period. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful. I hope it kind of gives people an insight into postnatal mental health, and thanks to Channel Mum for suggesting that I make this video, and yeah, I hope it helps people, and yeah, that's it. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.